Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's webinar. This is Michael Nelson with TLC Tech. Also on the line with us today, and he's going to be doing the presentation, is Peter Cook, who is the Senior Account Representative at Titan HQ. We're talking today about WebTitan Cloud. That's part of the required security stack. This is the second in the series. We did Huntress on the last one. Today we're talking about Titan Cloud. Also a reminder, in 2 weeks on December 2nd at 11 a.m., we're going to be doing our next webinar, which is why every organization needs cyber liability insurance. That'll be kind of a short one as well. That's going to be probably 30 to 40 minutes. Peter and I talked about this one today. This presentation is probably going to be a quick 10, 15, 20 minutes maybe, and then leaving times for questions. Speaking of questions, I have popped out the questions window. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and start typing them into the questions panel. Peter is going to pay attention. I'll pay attention to the questions. Peter is going to be giving the presentation. Again, I talked to Peter about the fact that we speak human. So if there's any too much geeking going on, I'll go ahead and ask him to do a translate to human as well. So Peter, go ahead and start sharing your screen, and I'm going to turn it over to you.
Perfect. Thanks, Michael, for the intro. And yeah, nice to speak with you all today. Thanks for joining. So just to introduce Titan HQ, which is the trading name of our company, WebTitan Cloud then being the product that we're going to show you through today from our cloud security suite. So Titan HQ are a cloud security vendor for MSPs, specifically MSPs who cater for the SMB market. So I suppose, why do MSPs connect with us? Well, our products give MSP partners robust, top-of-the-range security solutions for their customers. What we do is we aim to protect customers from malware, ransomware, phishing, viruses, botnets, and other cyber threats. I'm not going to geek out too early, but that's just an
clarify. So MSP, I'm not sure everybody's heard that. So we're what's known as an MSP, a managed service provider. And Titan HQ deals with what we say in the channel. So they deal with channel partners like us, and that's how we bring these kind of tools to our partners.
Exactly. So the solution that we'll be showing you through today is the WebTitan Cloud solution. Essentially, where that falls into is web filtering built for your business and for your users. So first slide, very quickly, just to kind of introduce our technology and how well we're recognized in the market. Top of the range web security, as I've mentioned, and web filtering. So over the past 22 years in business, we have established a really, really good name in the web filtering market. We've been recognized on a lot of red herring awards, also independent crowd reviews like G2 Suite and things like that. So there's a lot of information out there about our company if you want to look it up post-call. Adding on to that then would be some of the larger brand names that we are protecting and those that we are trusted by. Talking to our WebTitan Cloud solution specifically, most notably we'll have the likes of T-Mobile, Virgin Media, Comcast, and Purple Wi-Fi, all integrating our web security technology for their customers. I suppose if you're protecting those large brand names, the biggest point here is if you're protecting those large brand names, you are definitely doing something right in terms of how you design your technology and how you design your company and how you support your partners. So what is WebTitan Cloud, and what does it do, and what are the risks and roles and responsibility of the tool? So WebTitan Cloud is a DNS, a security solution. DNS is essentially a cloud protocol. When you visit a website such as facebook.com, a DNS request is associated with that searching. So essentially, when you go to facebook.com, what happens there is it goes out to the internet and it returns you with the web page. What WebTitan Cloud allows you to do is send all of your web requests to, again, the internet, which would be our cloud-based servers, which we will do with TLC Tech. But what it allows you as a customer to do and your service provider to do is protect you from harmful websites, and also websites relating to, for example, pornography, nudity, hate speech, weapons, and violence are some of the predefined categories within our product that you can choose to block or allow. So what are some of the primary DNS risks if you do not have a solution like ours? So the first would be network attacks. Your users are exposed to phishing links, ransomware links, malware within attachments, I'd imagine, on a daily or weekly basis, being an SMB. What WebTitan Cloud can do is when your users click on those links, is it effectively categorizes it into a malicious-based website, and it will present your users with I suppose a block page, as we define it, that will be presented to you with the TLC Tech logo. Botnet malware, obviously one of the things that we've spoken about, essentially just very malicious code that can get inside your network, and typically that gets in through the DNS layer, so another advantage of using our solution. The last point then, number 5 then, is web users. So not only do we provide security, but we do also provide the ability of content filtering, and then in-depth reporting on a user level as well, so we can see who is going where at what time throughout the day. So just in terms of how our solution works, don't get freaked out at all by our diagram. It's very simple in plain terms and non-geeky terms. Essentially, what will happen here, and down at the bottom, you can see your organization. So we have 6 PCs in here and 6 users inside our office for this SMB. What happens is those users are browsing throughout the web all day for work purposes. When we implement WebTitan Cloud, what happens is all of their web requests, so all of their DNS requests, are sent to our cloud servers. And within our product, we give the ability to TLC Tech, or you as the customer, to basically block or allow predefined categories. And we will check the policy that applies to your users and either return a block page or an allowed page on each of those websites.
So Peter, this is for a little more clarity on that. We can work with our partners individually to say, okay, these categories are not going to be allowed. So for some of our partners, there's no way they ever want anybody on Facebook. For other partners, they may need their sales team to be able to go into Facebook, but we can go in and work with them at the partner level to block particular types of sites.
Exactly. We can get very granular on user capabilities. So even though myself and Michael might work for the same company, we can actually have 2 different content filtering policies being applied to us. So for example, Michael, if you are allowed to surf for Facebook.com, you can go to that website on your machine anytime throughout the day and you will notice no difference than before. But if I am not allowed on Facebook as part of the company policy, then when I try to visit that website, I will be presented with a block page that I'm prohibited from visiting due to a WebTitan Cloud filtering policy, and that message, as we mentioned, is customizable.
Perfect. And if we end up having a category that gets blocked, but it's actually a valid web page, they just need to submit a ticket to us to ask us to go ahead and unblock that page as part of the policy.
Exactly, and we will have hyperlinks within the block page where they can simply do that by clicking on a URL. That's kind of an organization. Obviously, with the COVID pandemic, guys, a lot has changed, and that's kind of still ongoing. So your organization may be split between hybrid users, some users that work outside and inside the office, or some people that work outside the office on a permanent basis now as a result of the pandemic. So for those roaming users, what we get asked a lot, is there any way that we can filter your users when they are outside the office and they're not behind our kind of corporate location or inside the 4 walls of our physical corporate locations? And the way in which we do that is we can protect your roaming users if they are using Windows or Mac-based laptops. I've spoken with Michael. I know most of you would use Windows-based laptops, as would most of our corporate clients. But essentially what we can do there is we can ensure that when those devices are off the network, they are still protected by WebTitan Cloud, whether they're working from home, in a coffee shop, in a library, in a hot working space or a hot desk location. What happens there is we install the client onto those Windows devices, and the exact same thing happens. They request websites, those websites are sent to our cloud solution, and we check the policy that is currently being applied against that solution or against that user, and then we decide whether it's being blocked or allowed.
And Peter, how many of these lookups do you guys do a day?
We crawl about 7 billion URLs a day across our entire customer base. So what we, in terms of talking about security, Michael, and not to get too geeky, but we provide real-time threat detection. So what happens is you'll have about 1 million to 3 million new malicious URLs per day come up online, and WebTitan Cloud provides you essentially a real-time content filtering solution. So you're not waiting for like hours or days for new URLs to be categorized. They are categorized instantly within our product through our URL database. And it's essentially a really powerful technology that integrates with our solution on the back end.
So what's happening is every time, so let's say one of their users gets a phishing expedition and they end up clicking on the link. Now we've got on the Microsoft security stack, if they've got the appropriate license with advanced threat protection, the email link protection should catch that. But if it doesn't for some reason, how do you guys end up getting involved in that one?
Yeah, so that is sent to our database straight away, and that is categorized within one of 550 predefined categories. If that falls into any of the categories that you have blocked through your WebTitan cloud solution, then your users will be returned with the block page. So our database is spread out over about 700 million end users. So can you imagine all web requests coming from 700 million end users? It's such a big size feed, Michael, that it allows us to gain real-time detection across all URLs.
And that's one of the reasons that we ended up choosing Titan HQ, because we found that there's quite a few different DNS filtering options out there. That was one of the beauties that we found with this, is their depth and breadth that they have in the market that gives them access to a lot of information. Let me just take a quick ask, and are there any questions out there so far? I'm looking over at the question window. Feel free to pop in any questions that you have. We want this to be interactive as possible and make sure that if you've got particular questions about your organization, that we get those answered. So if you have any, go ahead and pop them in. And Peter, let's keep going.
So next slide, just to kind of outline some of the key features before we finish up. So a fully cloud-based model, a big advantage of our product is no hardware installation is required. Obviously, the way the whole world is moving now, we're moving to a more SaaS-based approach. SaaS meaning obviously cloud-based products, cloud-based security. You can see everything is in the cloud, from iCloud to Azure AD to Office 365. Everyone is moving away from hardware-based appliances and moving to a cloud-based model. So WebTitan Cloud is keeping up with those trends and the future. Second key feature to note is the malware and phishing protection. I know we mentioned this before, and you have a certain portion of this incorporated with your Microsoft licensing, but it does also basically give you peace of mind and allow you to sleep easier at night, knowing that malware and phishing protection is deployed across all of your users' web traffic, not only links that come through an email.
And this is most of the people on this call have heard during our technology business reviews or at other times about what we call our depth of defense. And this is really part of it. You may see a couple of things here that overlap with something that Huntress may do, that Microsoft may do, that the antivirus, but there are so many threat actors out there these days. Having this depth of defense, having the first gate, having the second gate, it just provides us with as much security strength as we can get on your machines.
Exactly, Michael. No one product is going to keep you protected from all the network threats out there. It is a multi-layered approach for security always, and the more layers you have in place, the more protected and the safer you're going to be. Policy exceptions, then, we mentioned some of this, but you also have the ability to get granular within your content filtering policies. So for example, if a customer out there, customer A, wants to block social media for all of their users, but maybe allow access to LinkedIn, even though that is in the social media category, you can create overrides on a specific URL basis. URL filtering ties into the same point. We're analyzing every URL that comes over to our system. So as you can imagine, we crawl 7 billion new web pages every day. They are classified into our predefined categories. So for example, Facebook.com is in social media, ESPN is in sports and entertainment. You have download sites and different things like that that you can define whether what you want to block or allow. Flexible policy creation. So we will identify all of the internal users. So for example, we can have different policies for sales, IT, marketing, all within the same company. Reporting is a big benefit of our solution as well. Not only can you block and allow based on web requests. But you can also see a real-time reporting feed and receive daily, weekly, or monthly reports in relation to user traffic, in relation to what's being blocked or allowed, and we'll have trend reports, security reports, and behavior reports all available within the system. And then the last side of that is user identification, and that applies whether your users are inside or outside the office. We will identify them, where they are going, and that gives you the ability then to segregate on the policies. So that is WebTitan Cloud in a nutshell. I hope that kind of encapsulates things in simple English, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions that anyone would have. I do believe we have a good 10 minutes or so.
Yeah, so I know we've got people on, so do we have any questions out there? I think some of you will probably be interested in the granular, the ability to do some granular blocking. Again, that can be done on a lot of different levels. We can also help configure reporting for you so that it's also automated, gets sent to you automatically. Any other questions that we have? Okay, well, all of you, I'm looking over the list of attendees, and all of you know my email address. So we'll be happy to, if you have any questions that you want to send to me personally, we'll be happy to take that. Again, a reminder for the next webinar on December 2nd, looking at cyber liability insurance and why you need to have it, why you should have it. We're going to continue doing these ongoing webinars. We're going to start picking up, we're going to go back and doing some of the Office 365 applications, kind of giving updates on how those have changed and keep moving forward on this. So I appreciate everybody taking the time to attend. Send me an email, give us anything that you'd like to know about on Titan, or any suggestions for webinars that you'd like to see coming up in the future. Thanks, everyone.